You think you know reality. You think the world is solid, predictable, and fixed. But what if everything you've ever believed about the way life works is an illusion? What if the very fabric of your existence is not made of matter, but of consciousness? What if the choices you've thought were insignificant, the thoughts you've dismissed as fleeting, and the intuitions you've ignored were quietly shaping your life in ways you could never have imagined? Right now, in this very moment, your consciousness is interacting with the universe, collapsing infinite possibilities into the reality you experience. And what I'm about to share with you will not just challenge what you believe. It will give you the tools to step into a new way of living, where synchronicities aren't coincidences, opportunities aren't random, and your future is no longer something that happens to you, but something you create. Scientists have been exploring this mystery for over a century. Take the double-slit experiment. Electrons fired through two slits behave like tiny bullets until no one observes them. When unobserved, they behave like waves, spreading out, passing through both slits at once, existing in multiple possibilities simultaneously. But the moment a scientist looks, the wave collapses into a single particle, a single outcome. Observation does not merely record reality, it creates it. This is not metaphor. This is fact. The act of perceiving does not simply witness life, it shapes life. And here is where it becomes personal. Everything you focus on, everything you dwell upon carries this power. Your thoughts, your emotions, your attention, they are all quantum instruments, collapsing potential into the version of reality you experience day by day. Yet most people never learn this. Our education systems, our culture, even our collective beliefs, teach us to accept life as fixed, to surrender to circumstance, to think of luck and misfortune as random. But this knowledge, the understanding that consciousness creates reality, is ancient. The Vedic texts called it Maya, the illusory world that bends to perception. The I Ching spoke of the currents of change, the subtle signs that guide our choices. Egyptian mystery schools taught how the initiates could navigate reality by aligning with unseen forces. Even modern scientists, mystics, and consciousness researchers converge on the same revelation. We are not passive observers of life. We are participants in creation. Jacobo Grinberg studied the brain and discovered that perception literally shapes the structure of reality. Michael Talbot described the universe as holographic, where every piece contains the whole, and shifting perception can ripple across existence. Joe Dispenza demonstrates how focused thought and emotion can physically reorganize your body and life. Amit Goswami explains that consciousness is not a byproduct of matter, it is the foundation from which all matter emerges. So what does this mean for you? It means that every coincidence you've experienced, every intuition you've ignored, every sudden insight or unplanned encounter is a message, a guidepost, a reflection of the possibilities available to you. And it means that if you learn to observe and respond with awareness, you can begin to collapse these possibilities deliberately, guiding your life toward alignment with your highest self. Think of consciousness like a radio. There are infinite stations, infinite potential realities broadcasting at once. Most people drift, static guiding their lives, trapped by fear, habit, and unconscious patterns. But intention tunes the dial. Coherence, clarity, and alignment allow you to lock onto the frequency you want to inhabit. And once you do, the universe begins to rearrange itself in astonishing ways. Relationships align, opportunities emerge, and what once seemed improbable becomes inevitable. And here is the secret most people never grasp. You do not need extraordinary powers to do this. You need observation, attention, and the willingness to see life without the filters of old programming. You become what the mystics called the silent observer, the witness who does not merely react but interacts, shaping reality moment by moment. Pause for a moment and feel it. Sense the subtle power you have in this present instant. The life you live today is a reflection of your past focus, of the attention you have given to certain patterns. The life you desire is waiting, a potential collapsing into form the moment you tune your awareness to it. And if you are ready to explore this, to step beyond passive existence and into conscious creation, then stay here, because what comes next will show you exactly how to begin observing and shaping your reality with intention. And if you want to walk this path alongside me, uncovering the science, the mysteries, and the practical tools to live intentionally, hit subscribe now, because this journey is just beginning, and it is far bigger than any one of us alone. But understanding the theory is only the beginning. Awareness without practice is like seeing the map without ever stepping onto the path. The next step is about noticing the invisible threads that connect your life, understanding how synchronicities, intuition, and the energy you carry all converge, and learning to navigate them consciously. Every thought, every feeling, every moment of focus becomes a tool, a lever, a way to collapse potential into reality. And this is where the journey moves from fascination to transformation, from insight to practical power. Imagine being able to trace every misalignment in your life back to its source, to see the opportunities that are always present but often invisible, to feel with certainty that you are no longer a passenger but a creator. This is not a hypothetical. This is the reality that quantum physics, consciousness research, and ancient wisdom all point toward. And the path forward requires nothing more than awareness, practice, and courage. So take a deep breath. Let yourself feel the weight of this truth. Your life is not random. Your consciousness matters. And as we move forward, I will guide you through the tools, the practices, and the understanding that allows you to step fully into the role of the conscious architect, shaping your reality moment by moment. The journey has only begun. And the deeper we go, the more you will realize that every challenge, every opportunity, and every signal you've been ignoring is a doorway to becoming the person you were always meant to be. You've begun to see the edges of a reality that feels almost impossible, a reality where your attention is not just passive, but a force that shapes the very world around you. Yet understanding is not enough. You may already notice that life has a way of tempting us to forget this truth, pulling us back into the comfortable illusion of randomness, of things happening to us rather than through us. The key now is to begin seeing the patterns that have always been there, hidden in plain sight. Consider the strange synchronistic moments in your own life. Perhaps you've experienced repeating numbers, 1111, 222, 333, times when the universe seemed to tap you on the shoulder. Perhaps a friend called out of the blue just when you needed guidance, or a book appeared, or an insight struck at exactly the right moment. Most dismiss these moments as coincidences, but quantum physics tells us otherwise. These are ripples in the matrix, indications of a field responding to your attention. They are invitations to act, to observe with clarity, and to consciously participate in the creation of your reality. Yet there is a reason so few understand this. For centuries, knowledge of consciousness as a creative force has been suppressed. Mainstream science has historically prioritized objectivity over experiential reality, teaching us to value what can be measured, while ignoring what can be felt, intuited, or observed internally. Educational systems reinforce the idea that life is a linear sequence of cause and effect, discouraging exploration of the subtle, invisible currents that actually shape existence. Institutions, cultures, and even religions have often presented rules and structures as external authorities rather than empowering tools, keeping humanity reactive instead of creative. This knowledge, this forbidden wisdom, has always been available, but only to those willing to look beyond appearances and claim the power within themselves. And now, as you sit here, you are being invited to see it. You are being given the chance to awaken to a deeper understanding that the ancients have whispered through their teachings. The universe is responsive, consciousness is creative, and your perception is a tool. Let's bring this into daily life. Notice the difference between unconscious and conscious creation. Imagine two people facing the same challenge, a lost job, for example. One responds unconsciously, thinking, "Why me? This always happens to me," spiraling into fear and stress. The other notices the same event but pauses, observes the emotions, and asks, "What does this opportunity reveal? Where does my attention want to go?" The first person reinforces a pattern of limitation. The second collapses potential into possibility. opening doors the mind could never anticipate. This is the power of the observer. Every thought, every focus, every emotion acts as a quantum lever. And the good news is that you can train it. One of the simplest tools is the synchronicity journal. Write down every coincidence, insight, and pattern that feels meaningful. Reflect on your emotions, your intentions, your awareness in these moments. Over time, you will start to notice the invisible threads connecting your experiences, illuminating the pathways of potential you had been blind to. Another tool is the reality audit. Take a moment each day to observe the areas of your life that feel misaligned. Ask yourself, which beliefs, emotions, or unconscious expectations are creating the current outcomes? Then, deliberately shift your focus toward the life you wish to inhabit. Even small, consistent observations begin to recalibrate your frequency, aligning you with possibilities you may have once thought unreachable. And yet, this is only part of the practice. Beyond observation lies coherence, the alignment of thought, feeling, and action. Ancient teachings and modern science converge here. Heart math, for example, demonstrates that the coherence of your heart rhythm affects your nervous system, your brain, and even your environment. Vedanta teaches that harmony between mind, body, and spirit collapses illusion and allows perception of reality's underlying truth. By cultivating this coherence, by observing into existence with clarity and emotional alignment, you begin to act not as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in the flow of life. Every relationship, every challenge, every so-called accident becomes an instrument. Imagine seeing your interactions as mirrors, reflecting your inner state back to you. The moments that frustrate or challenge you are not punishments. They are opportunities to observe where your energy is misaligned and where conscious intervention can transform the outcome. This is how your past patterns, unconscious habits, repeating struggles, limiting beliefs, are transmuted into conscious choice. Now consider intuition. You've experienced it before. That gut feeling, the sudden clarity, the inexplicable knowing that guides your decisions. Many dismiss it as chance or imagination. Yet, quantum theory, neuroscience, and the wisdom of mystics all suggest that intuition is your consciousness tapping into the field of infinite possibilities, receiving information directly from the potential realities that have not yet collapsed into form. By paying attention, by observing and responding to these signals, you can navigate life with an almost uncanny precision, aligning with outcomes that once seemed impossible. And as you practice, something remarkable begins to happen. Life begins to feel more fluid, more responsive. Opportunities you didn't plan for appear at exactly the right moment. Relationships shift, not because others change, but because your perception has transformed the resonance of your interactions. Even finances, health, and creativity respond to your alignment. Coherent observation strengthens your immune system, lowers stress, and allows your body and mind to operate in harmony with the deeper currents of existence. Your reality becomes less about effort and more about alignment. And here is the most subtle, yet most profound shift. Your identity begins to change. You are no longer a passive participant, caught in circumstance and habit. You become the silent observer, the field navigator, the conscious architect. You see patterns where others see chaos. You notice the signals where others see randomness. And most importantly, you understand that the universe responds not to wishful thinking, but to conscious, coherent attention. At this point, many feel overwhelmed thinking, "This sounds incredible, but how do I start? Where do I begin?" And the answer is deceptively simple. Awareness first, intention second, action third. Start small. Observe your thoughts. Notice your reactions. Track the synchronicities that arise. Write them down. Feel the emotions that accompany them. Align your energy with the life you desire, even in small ways. Over time, these small calibrations ripple outward, transforming the entire field of your reality. And while you explore this path, it is important to stay curious. The moment you believe you've mastered it, you risk slipping back into unconscious patterns. The journey of conscious creation is continuous. Each observation, each intentional shift, Each moment of coherence expands your capacity to collapse possibility into presence, to create not only outcomes, but a life in alignment with your highest self. If you've been following along and feel the power of these ideas stirring within you, I want you to do something now. Take a moment, pause this video, and reflect. What is the one area of your life where you feel most disconnected from your potential? Where is your attention unconsciously locked? And then commit, right here, right now, to observing it with awareness. If you're ready to continue this exploration, to deepen your understanding and your ability to consciously create, make sure you're subscribed. This journey is not a lecture, it's an ongoing awakening, and I want to guide you step by step. Yet, even with these tools and insights, there is a hidden truth few ever confront. The universe is always speaking, always guiding, but it will not force alignment. It offers freedom, and with freedom comes responsibility. The same principles that allow you to collapse your highest potentials into reality also reveal where you have been unconscious, where you have reinforced limitations, and where your attention has been scattered. Many resist this truth because it is uncomfortable. Yet embracing it is what transforms fear into empowerment, chaos into opportunity, and uncertainty into deliberate creation. And as we move into the next stage, you will learn how to integrate these insights not just theoretically, but fully into your daily life. You will discover practices that allow you to operate in coherence every day, to navigate relationships, finances, health, and creativity as a conscious architect. You will learn how to maintain alignment even when the world seems chaotic, how to recognize signals from your future self, and how to truly observe into existence. The journey is not over, it is only deepening. And as we continue, you will see that the next steps are not abstract teachings, but living practices that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, the mundane into the miraculous. As we move forward, it's time to step fully into the implications of what you've already begun to feel. You've glimpsed a reality where consciousness shapes existence, where observation collapses possibility into presence, and where synchronicity is not coincidence but invitation. Now the question becomes, what does it mean to truly live as a conscious creator? The first shift is internal. Your identity begins to transform the moment you accept that your attention matters. You are no longer merely a passenger navigating circumstances dictated by chance, habit, or other people's expectations. You are the silent observer, the architect of experience, the navigator of possibility. Every thought, every focus, every alignment of emotion and attention becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And with this awareness comes radical responsibility, not as a burden, but as liberation. You no longer need to wait for validation or external permission to create the life you desire. The power has always been within you. Relationships begin to transform as this awareness deepens. People you encounter are mirrors, reflecting your inner state. Conflicts, attractions, disappointments, and delights all emerge as reflections of alignment or misalignment within your consciousness. Recognizing this allows you to step beyond reactive patterns. You observe not to judge, but to understand, to adjust, and to navigate interactions with clarity and compassion. Your connections deepen, not through force or manipulation, but because your coherence resonates at a frequency that naturally draws aligned experiences. Every person you meet becomes a teacher, a guide, and an opportunity to practice conscious creation. This same principle reshapes finances, opportunity, and creativity. When your attention and intention align, you no longer chase success, you attract it. The universe responds to frequency. A coherent mind, aligned heart, and focused energy create openings that once seemed improbable. Money, ideas, opportunities, they flow toward you not because you are lucky, but because you are tuned to the frequency of abundance. Every coincidental meeting, every sudden insight, every unexpected breakthrough is a manifestation of observation meeting intention. You collapse possibility into reality simply by maintaining coherence in thought and emotion. Even health responds to this alignment. Stress and scattered attention disrupt energy fields, weaken the immune system, and cloud perception. But coherence, alignment of mind, heart, and body, creates harmony, enabling optimal functioning, vitality, and resilience. You literally become the environment in which life thrives, not just a participant in it. Every breath, every thought, every moment of awareness strengthens your capacity to live in alignment with the highest potential of your own consciousness. And yet, this journey is more than strategy or practice. It is spiritual. It is the recognition that the boundaries between self and universe are illusions. You are not separate from the flow of life. You are life observing itself. The observer is the observed. The creator is creation. This awareness allows detachment without disengagement, action without desperation, and alignment without force. It is the freedom to navigate life as a conscious architect, collapsing possibility into presence moment by moment. To integrate this fully, there are practices you can adopt immediately. Begin your day with observation. Notice thoughts, notice emotions, notice the subtle cues of the universe responding to you. Maintain a synchronicity journal. Track patterns, insights, coincidences, and intuitive nudges. Pause before action. Check alignment with intention, coherence of emotion, clarity of focus. At night, reflect. Where did attention wander? Where did you consciously collapse possibility into reality? Where can adjustments be made? These practices are deceptively simple, yet profoundly transformative. They recalibrate the mind, body, and energy field to the frequency of creation rather than reaction. As you embody these practices, the transformation becomes tangible. Opportunities appear without struggle. Relationships shift into resonance. Health and creativity thrive. And most importantly, you feel the subtle hum of alignment, the sense that life itself is responding to your consciousness. You step into your future self's frequency before it manifests, guiding your choices, your presence, and your perception. You move from fear to empowerment, from randomness to intention, from passive existence to conscious creation. And here is the final, most profound shift. Your identity evolves. You no longer identify with limitation, circumstance, or the stories of the past. You are the silent observer, the field navigator, the conscious architect. Life no longer happens to you, life happens through you. You see the invisible threads connecting moments, the hidden patterns guiding experiences, and the opportunities that emerge from coherent observation. You understand that your thoughts, feelings, and attention are instruments, and with practice, they become precise tools to shape reality in alignment with your highest potential. Now, as you sit with this understanding, I want to invite you to take the next step. Choose a moment, a situation, or an area of life, and apply the principles we've explored. Observe, feel, align, and act with coherence. Collapse possibility into presence deliberately. Notice the signals, the synchronicities, and the subtle currents that guide you. And if you feel ready to continue this journey, exploring deeper layers of consciousness, practical quantum tools, and ways to navigate life as a conscious creator, subscribe now and step fully into this path of awakening. Your future self is not waiting for some distant tomorrow. Your future self is calling in this very moment. Every insight, every intuition, every opportunity is a message from the version of you who has already mastered alignment, coherence, and conscious creation. Listen carefully. Respond intentionally. Collapse the possibilities that are wading into the reality you wish to inhabit. And remember this, the universe does not need you to believe in magic, to follow dogma, or to wait for luck. It only requires your attention, your observation, and your willingness to act coherently. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not subject to randomness. You are a conscious architect, shaping your life from the invisible currents of existence, moment by moment, breath by breath. So as you step back into your day, carry this awareness with you. Observe into existence. Collapse possibility into presence. Tune your consciousness like a radio, not just to receive, but to transmit the frequency of your highest potential. And know this, every choice, every observation, every alignment brings you closer to the life you were always meant to live. Your journey begins now. Your future self is calling. Will you answer?